Hello everyone, how are you today? Hopefully you are doing good and great. Today we are going to speak about neighborhood. What is meant by neighborhood? What do you think? So if you just keep thinking, you are going to find that the first part of the word, it's from the word neighbor, neighbor. And don't forget, we don't pronounce the GH, it's silent. So what does mean neighbor? Neighbor, it means the person who lives next to your house or above or below your apartment. Okay, so for example, I love my neighbors. It could be a noun and it could be a verb as well. Neighborhood, it means what? It means the area that is around your home or your house, the area surrounding your house. This is called the neighborhood. So for example, my neighborhood is so noisy. It means there's a lot of noise around your house. Neighboring is the adjective from the word. Neighboring, it means what? It means, sorry, what? It means next to you or near from you. Okay? So she, as an example, she married a man from a neighboring village. It means a close village or a near village. Okay? As related to the word neighborhood, there is a famous idiom that is related to this. Idiom, it means what? It means a phrase as a whole that has a specific meaning. We don't translate it individually. So it means, so the idiom is what? Good fences make good neighbors. What does mean good fences make good neighbors? This is the fence. Do you see the picture? Can you see this? This is the picture here. Do you see this? Yeah, this is the fence. So what does mean good fences make good neighbors? It means that having boundaries, having limits, having, let's say, borders, okay, between you and your neighbor helps you both to respect each other's space and privacy. Again, it means what? It means you have limits, you have borders, في حدود بينك وبين your neighbor. It helps you to have what? To have your own space and privacy, and to respect at the same time the privacy of others. Okay? In order to speak about neighborhood, we have to understand some prepossessions of places or location. This is really important because we use it a lot when we speak, or we use it when we describe something for a person. So for example, if I am now walking in your neighborhood next to your house, for example, and I come and ask you, where is the bank? Where is the bank, please? Or the same question, it has the same meaning. Can or could you please tell me where the bank is? Or is there a bank nearby or near here or around here? The three questions have the same meaning. Okay? It means I ask you about what? كلهم بيسألوا على إيه? The place or the possession of a bank or of something. Okay? So all of them have the same meaning. In order to answer, how can you answer? In order to answer for the three questions, you have to use the prepossessions of places or location. What are these prepossessions? Let's look together. So the first one, next to or beside or right beside. Next to, beside or right beside. So for example, the shopping center is next to the drugstore, or is beside the drugstore, or is right beside the drugstore. Okay? Between means what? It means have a look at the picture here. Where is the hospital? It's between the barber shop and the library. Between, it means two places or two things. Near or close to. Near or close to, it means it's in the area. It's in this area. So where is the bank, for example? It's, for example, I can say, or it's near or it's close to, let's just say the shopping center, the drugstore, without saying exactly where. I can do this. Across from or opposite. What does mean across from? Across from or opposite, it means you are going to cross the street, for example. Okay, هتعدي حاجة. So for example, where is the hospital? It's across from the shopping center, or it's opposite the shopping center. Okay, very good. For example, where is the high school? It's across from the grocery store, or across from the library. Okay. On, what does it mean on? On, it means it's on the street. So for example, where is the hospital? It's on Pine Street. Where is the shopping center? It's on Pine Street. Okay, so on and the name of the street, and don't forget the name of the street capitals. Okay. In front of, in front of, what does it mean in front of? In front of, it's like across from, but across from you cross the street. In front of, you don't cross. So for example, where is the bank? It's in front of the drugstore. I don't cross something here. ما بعديش شارع هنا أو ما بعديش حاجة هنا. It's in front of the drugstore. Okay. On the corner of, on the corner of. What does it mean on the corner of? On the corner of, it means for example, it has or it looks or it views on two streets like this. For example, where is the high school? If you told me the high school is on Pine Street, okay, it's on Pine Street, but it's also on what? On First Avenue. So it takes a corner. واخدة نصية. Okay, so I'm gonna say it's on the corner of Pine Street and First Avenue. Okay, in the back of or behind. What does it mean in the back of or behind? In the back, like where is the bank? It's in the back of the shopping center, or it's behind the shopping center. Okay, so this is an example. The second one, we can say, for example, if we are gonna say this is a square, ميدان يعني, and there is here what? Traffic light. So if I asked you where is the traffic light, so we are gonna say it's in the square, inside the square. Okay, so these are the prepositions we need to know, or we need to understand. So again, let's see if now I'm going to answer the question. If I'm going to answer the first question, where is the bank, or where is the hospital, or could you tell me where the hospital is? لو أنا هجاوب على أي واحد في السؤال ده, I'm gonna say this is the hospital. It's on Pine Street, between the library and the barber shop. And so it's and here. Let me correct this for you. And the barber shop. Okay, so one more time. It's on Pine Street. It's on Pine Street, between the library and the barber shop. Don't forget, we say the name of the street first. يعني احنا بنقول الأول هي في أنهي street, وبعد كده بتيجي أقول هي جنب إيه أو قدام إيه أو قريبة من إيه. ما ينفعش تقول هي جنب حاجة من غير ما تقول أصلا النيم of the street في الأول. مش هنبقى عارفين هي فين بالظبط. Okay? Is there a bank nearby or near here or around here? This is a yes or no question. The yes or no question. يبقى هقول الأول yes there is. هقول الأول yes there is or no there isn't. If there is, yeah there is one behind the shopping center, for example. في واحد behind the shopping center. Okay? Let's see. طيب, there is أو there are. When can I use there is and there are? What's the difference between the is there? Let's see. There is and there are in Arabic, it means يوجد. And this is the easiest way to describe anything. The أسهل طريقة to describe anything. For example, if I tell you, we are now in a room. لو احنا دلوقتي في room and I tell you describe the room. So we're gonna say there is a table, for example. There are some chairs. Let's say there is a board. There is a computer. And there are some markers, for example, or there are some fans. Okay, يبقى دي easiest way to describe anything. دي أسهل طريقة توصف بيها أي حاجة في الدنيا. There is and there are. So what's the difference between there is and there are? There is plus singular noun. After there is a singular noun. يجي بعديها singular noun. There are أكيد plural noun because I have are. طب let's see an example. There is a supermarket in my neighborhood. There is a supermarket in my neighborhood. is because I have a supermarket. There are some shops in my neighborhood. I have are because I have shops in this case. Okay? But if it's negative, if I'm gonna say it in the negative, it's very easy, the verb to be. So it's gonna be there isn't a supermarket in my neighborhood, or there aren't any shops in my neighborhood. If it's a question, it's easy as well because it's a verb to be. So I'm gonna say, is there a supermarket in your neighborhood? Yeah, there is. ممكن أقف لغاية كده. Yeah, there is. Or I can add extra information. There is one next to the hospital. أقول بقى فين البوزيشن بتاعه. Okay, there is one next to the hospital. طب if there isn't, no, there isn't. طب if you don't know, you are gonna say sorry, I don't know. Okay. Are there any shops in your neighborhood? Yeah, there are. I can say yeah, they are. Yeah, there are only, and I can say yeah, there are. There are some on Amman Street, the name of the place that they are in. Or no, there aren't, if I don't know. Okay, so this is the difference between there is and there are. Okay, very good. There aren't any. There are some. So some and any. What's the difference between some and any? How can I use them? It's very easy and very simple. You can use some and any in a very easy way. How can you make this? Let's see. Some, we use it with positive sentences. I use it in the positive sentences. And I use it in offering question. For any, I use it in negative sentences and all the questions except the offering question. يبقى any مع كل الquestion ما عدا ال offering question. مين ال offering question ده؟ I offer something for a person. I offer to give you something. It's not just a question. طب let's see how. كأنك بتعزم على حد أو بتعرض على حد حاجة. Let's see the examples. I have some or any friends. هي sentence دي a positive, so I'm gonna use some. طيب we bought coffee. Do we have here a positive or a negative sentence? لا دي positive يبقى هستخدم some. Would you like, أنا بعزم عليكي بقى. Would you like tea? Would you like any tea ولا some tea؟ هو ده question ولا ده offering؟ لا I offer you something. يبقى would you like some tea? Would you like some tea? And mostly when you ask a person would you like offering question, you will answer yes, I'd like some, for example. Okay. Okay. Let's see the negative. There isn't the negative. Do you see? There isn't any rain in the summer or in summer. I don't have any ideas. Word negative. Do you have any pets? I ask you a question. Sorry. Do you have any pets? Pets, it means animals. Do you have any pets? It's a general question. Okay, it's not offering question. Okay, so did you get the difference? Again, what's the difference between them? Any for negative and the question, all questions. Some positive and the offering questions only. Okay, some people are gonna say we use some with countable and uncountable. Okay, both of them you can use uncountable, countable. يعني it's not a difference. مش هو ده الديفرنس. الديفرنس اللي positive and offering والنيجاتيف والquestion. ده الديفرنس between them. Okay, let's try to do this exercise. We will have news soon. So I'm gonna use some or any. You are going to choose some or any. We'll have, so you are going to think, is it a positive or negative sentence? It's positive, so you are gonna use what? You are gonna use some in this case. For example, the rest is homework. The rest is homework. You are going to try to answer them. Okay? Okay, very good. So again, we are speaking about what today? We are speaking about the neighborhood. Very good. And we said that in order to speak about the neighborhood, we need to know or understand the prepositions of places and location. Like what? Like next to, between, across from, in front of, on the corner, and so on. And there is a question, which is there is and there are, and how can we use them? And there is a difference between some and any. Very good. Now we are going to move to something else related to the neighborhood. What are the places that you can find in the neighborhood? What are these places? I mean by this, for example, there is a bank in my neighborhood. So what are the places that you can find? So keep thinking and tell me. We can find, for example, a bank fire station, gas station, hair salon or hairdressers, hospital, hotel, laundromat. It's for washing the clothes. Okay. Library, to read books in. Movie theater or cinema. Parking lot. It's like a space or a place that you can park your car in. Pharmacy, we can say pharmacy or drugstore. Okay. Police station, supermarket, school, university, institute, academy. Okay. Restaurant and post office. We have taken these words before in the jobs. احنا أخذنا الكلام ده قبل كده في jobs. Some of them, not all of them. Okay, so we are gonna complete the rest. So we can say, for example, if I ask you, what can we find in your neighborhood? So a restaurant, a supermarket, shop or store. You can use the word shop or the word store. For example, you can say pet store for animals, toy shop, sweet shop. Okay, toy for toys. Bus stop, metro station, train station. Okay, masjid or mosque, and mostly we can use masjid. Church, playground for playing soccer. Okay, for playing soccer, for example. Club, الأهلي club, الزمالك club. Gallery for having pictures, to show pictures. Even in Arabic, it's a gallery. Airport for planes. Gym. Stadium like Cairo Stadium. Aquarium. What is meant by aquarium? It's not so famous in Egypt, but aquarium, it means like this picture. Do you see the picture? It's like a large container that has a lot of different types of fish, and people keep watching the fish moving around them. This is the aquarium. Okay. Mall, museum, like a Tahrir Museum or the Egyptian Museum. Coffee shop, okay, or cafe. Newsstand is just like this. This is a newsstand. I'm going to make it a little bit larger so that you can see. This is the newsstand. Newsstand, it means the place where you can buy newspapers or where you can buy magazines. Okay, this is the newsstand. Okay. Okay, very good. Now, if I ask you, do you remember we said about the places in the neighborhood? I don't want you to know the name only. أنا مش عايزاكم تبقوا عارفين بس الكلمة bank. No, I want you to know what can we use the bank for. I can use this bank for what? So for example, what's a bank? Give me the definition. عرف لي بقى يعني إيه bank. It's a place where you keep money. For example, it's a place where you keep money. Very good. Let's move on. I want you to do some exercise related to this before we go on. Okay, these are some places: airport, bakery, bank, bookstore, butcher's, port, fire station, police station, zoo, gallery, pharmacy, or drugstore. I want you to match the word with its meaning. So a place where you can buy books and magazines. Which one of this? Okay, so this is your homework, guys. Okay, but now we are going to do something else. We are going to have a look at our book. Okay, how do you like the neighborhood? How do you like your neighborhood? Do you like it or not? The area that you live in, the place that you live in. Let's try the first one. These are some examples that we can practice. So match the word and the definition, the meaning. The definition means the meaning. So for example, what's a barber shop? So you are going to answer, it's a place where you, what's a barber? Do you remember a barber shop? It's a place where you get a haircut. So it's number D. Very good. The rest is homework. You are going to try to answer this at home, and we are going to check this together. Okay, after you finish this part, I want you to try to write the definitions for these places. You are going to write the definition. So for example, he give you the first one, bank. So you are going to write in your notebook, it's a place where you keep your money. So coffee shop, it's a place where you, and you are going to complete. Drugstore, it's a place where you. A gym, it's a place where you. Post office, it's a place where you. Bookstore, dance club, gas station, hotel, and restaurant. So this is homework and this is homework, okay? And I'm gonna check it, okay, with all of you. Now we are going to do something else. I want you to have a look at this part and try to tell me or try to listen. I'm going to let you listen for this. So let's listen for this conversation. Neighborhood, okay? We are going to listen to this part. If you have a difficult word, you can just tell me what's the difficult word that you have. Okay, so let's try to listen for this one. It's a nice conversation and it's related to the neighborhood part that we are talking about. Okay, so let's look now. Just try to look before we go on.
How do you like the neighborhood? Page 46. Conversation. The neighborhood. Listen and practice. Excuse me, I'm your new neighbor, Jack. I just moved in.
Oh, yes?
I'm looking for a grocery store. Are there any around here?
Yes, there are some on Pine Street.
Okay. And is there a laundromat near here?
Well, I think there's one across from the shopping center.
Thank you.
By the way, there's a barber shop in the shopping center, too.
A barber shop?
Okay, so now we have already listened to this part. I want you to read it again. So can you read all the words and you understand this conversation, or there are difficult words that you couldn't get? Okay, and try to have a look at the answer for the question. Are there any around here? Yeah, there are some on Pine Street. So do you see? And don't forget, whenever you write the name of the street, write it capital, don't write it small. He asked about the laundromat, okay? But at the end, she told him that there is a barber shop. Why did she tell him that there is a barber shop? He didn't ask for the barber shop. Have a look here and try to guess why. Why she told him about the barber shop? Barber shop. If you guessed, because he has a long hair. Do you see? He has a long hair. So she thought that he needs to go to the barber to cut his hair. Very good. Okay. Now let's move on to the next part. Is there and are there? We have already said this. Is there a laundromat near here? Yeah, there is. There is one across from the shopping center. Or no, there isn't, but there is one next to the library. Are there any grocery stores? Because I have grocery stores plural, I use the are. Yeah, there are. There are some on Pine Street. No, there aren't, but there are some on 3rd Avenue. By the way, the word avenue, it means a wide street that is having trees and things like this, okay? And these are the prepositions. Now, let's try to do some exercise on these prepositions. Write questions about these places in the neighborhood map below and try to answer them. He gives you here some places: a bank, gas stations, department store like Hyper, okay? Grocery stores, gym, hotels, laundromat, a payphone like Minatel that you use with money or card, post office, and restaurants, okay? Now you are going to ask the question and answer the question as well. I want you to choose a singular noun and a plural noun to ask and answer for. I'm going to do an example for you to understand, okay? So for example, the first one, I'm going to ask about the payphone. Is there a payphone around here in this area, in this neighborhood? Imagine that we are in this neighborhood. يعني لو احنا افترضنا ان احنا في neighborhood دي, and I ask you, is there a payphone around here? So you are gonna answer what? Let's see the answer. You are gonna say what? Yeah, there is. There is one across from the post office. Have a look now. You see now? There is one across from the post office. But before you answer, don't forget, قبل ما تقولي إن هو قدام البوست office, tell me it's, for example, it's on Main Street across from the post office. Okay, so you are going to choose a singular and a plural one. Okay, and try to make questions for them. This is the whole map. You can zoom it more if you couldn't see any. This is the whole map. You can see all of it now. Okay, very good. So I want you to try to practice making a singular question using is there and a plural question using are there, and to try to answer the question to use the prepositions of location. Okay, very good. Okay, now listening. Some hotel guests are asking about places to visit in the neighborhood. Okay, we are going to listen to this, and you are going to have a notebook next to you, and you are going to try to complete the answers. This is the place. You are going to tell me the location, and is it interesting or not? So you are going to try to listen and try to complete this at home, and then we are going to revise them together. So listen, please.
Page 49, exercise 8. Conversation. Describe. Page 48, exercise 6. Listening. Some hotel guests are asking about places to visit in the neighborhood. Complete the chart.
Good morning. Can I help you?
Yes, we need some directions.
Sure. What are you looking for?
Well, first of all, we're looking for the Hard Rock Cafe. How far is it from here?
Oh, it's just a few minutes from here, right across from the National Bank.
The National Bank on Park Avenue?
Yes, that's the one.
Is the Hard Rock Cafe a nice place?
Well, I think so. The food is good, and there are some interesting things to look at in the restaurant, like one of Elvis's cars.
Great. And where is the Science Museum?
Well, that's near City Hall.
Near City Hall. Okay, I know where that is. And what's the museum like?
Actually, it's not very good. It's small, and there isn't a lot to see there. It's really for young kids.
Oh, then maybe we won't go there.
One last question. Is there an aquarium in the city?
Yes, there's a very good one. It's only about 6 blocks from here. It's in the park next to the train station.
Oh, next to the train station.
Yes, definitely visit the aquarium.
Great. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
Okay, now after listening to this conversation, I want you to try to answer these questions about the location and is it interesting or not for them. Okay? Okay, very good. Before going on and describing the neighborhood, I want to show you something else. Okay. Now, if I asked you how much noise is there in your neighborhood or how many restaurants are there in your neighborhood, what's the difference between how much and how many? How much and how many are WH words. Okay, I can ask them, I can use them to ask about the number or the quantity of something. What's the difference between them? How many followed by countable noun, a noun that you can count. How many chairs, 1 chair, 2 chairs, 3 chairs, and so on. Countable noun, something that you can count. How much uncountable noun, in nouns you can't count. For example, milk, water, you can't count, okay? So let's see the example. How much noise is there in your neighborhood? How much noise is there in your neighborhood? Noise. Is noise countable? Can I count the noise؟ يعني ينفع أعد كلمة الضوضاء أو الدوشة؟ No, I can't. دي uncountable. بما إنها uncountable يبقى بستخدم معاها إيه؟ How much? Is there? Of course, if it's uncountable هيبقى singular. تعمل معاملة السنجلر يبقى is there. How much noise is there in your neighborhood? طب if I'm gonna answer هجاوب ازاي? Let's see how can we answer. But before we answer, let's see how many. How many restaurants? Why I use the how many? عشان restaurants دي plural و countable. I can count. ممكن أقول فيه 1 restaurant, 2 restaurants, 3 restaurants. وعشان كده are there plural. يبقى how many restaurants are there in your neighborhood? Very good. How can I answer both of them? It's very easy and very simple. Let's see. If I'm going to answer how much, sure بما ان انا قلت is يبقى اكيد كل الانسر هتبقى is singular. يبقى there is. If it's a lot, there is a lot of noise. It's always noisy. طيب there isn't much، لا هي مش كتيرة قوي. there isn't much هي لو انا قلت there isn't much، لو انا قلت there is a little، هي دي نفس المينينج. اوكي، كمية قليلة يعني، او قليل من الدوشة او من الضوضاء. طب لو زيرو، لو ما فيش اصلا noise، so there isn't any او there is none. يبقى there is a lot، there isn't much او there is a little، there isn't any او there is none اللي هو الزيرو يعني. okay very good. نفس الكلام with how many، بس بدل is هتبقى are. very good. طب تعالوا نشوف الاختلافات بقى. انا ممكن اقول there are a lot، وممكن استخدم النمبرز لان this is something that you can count. there are 10 restaurants for example. I can say there are a lot and I can say there are 10 restaurants, 5 restaurants and so on. okay very good. there aren't many، there aren't many بدل much هتبقى many of course. there are a few بدل little هتبقى a few. okay وطبعا كلهم are because it's plural. there aren't any و there are none. يبقى ايه الديفرنس ما بينهم؟ is مع much ومع many are لان singular و plural. okay بدل much هتبقى many وبدل little هتبقى few and the rest are the same. okay very good. let's try okay let's try to do this on the book first, to do some exercise on this part. Describing neighborhoods. okay I want you to listen to this conversation and try to get it, and then we are going to answer the last questions. okay so try to listen please.
Page 49, exercise 8, conversation. Describing neighborhoods. Part A. Listen and practice. Where do you live, Kim?
I live in an apartment downtown.
Oh, that's convenient. But how much crime is there?
Not much, but there is a lot of traffic. I can't stand the noise sometimes. Where do you live?
I have a house in the suburb.
Oh, I bet it's really quiet. Is there much to do there?
No, not much. In fact, nothing ever really happens. That's the trouble.
Hey, let's trade places one weekend.
Okay, great idea.
okay now I want you to look back at this conversation. Try to read it again. Do you understand all the words or no? There is a difficult word. Convenient, it means it's in a good place. okay it's well suited or well located. Traffic, it means a lot of cars, like cars. okay downtown, like for example we have وسط البلد. okay suburbs, this is what you see in the metro or the subway. suburbs, Giza suburbs اللي هي الضواحي يعني, or the area that is not in the center، مش بتبقى في السنتر بتاعت التاون أو مش بتبقى في وسط البلد يعني. I think it's the rest. Let's trade places يعني let's change the places. I come to your house and you come to my house. okay so I want you to read it again please. If you have any difficult word you can ask. okay if you don't have any word, I want you to listen to the rest of the conversation and try to answer this question. What do Dan and Kim say about restaurants? What do they say about the restaurants in their neighborhoods? In their neighborhoods, what did they say about the restaurants? So listen please and try to answer.
Page 49, exercise 8, part B. Listen to the rest of the conversation. What do Dan and Kim say about restaurants in their neighborhoods?
How many restaurants are there in your neighborhood?
There are a lot, actually. There's a great pizza place on the corner. The pizzas are delicious and very cheap. And there's a good Chinese restaurant on the next block. Are there any good restaurants close to your place?
Unfortunately, there aren't any. But there is a big public park and a sports center just down the street.
Wow, you're really lucky.
okay I think that's it. Please try to listen again, okay, and try to complete the questions and answer them in your notebook. okay we are going to check this together. okay now how much and how many, as we said, the difference is uncountable and countable now. okay now I want you to try to answer this. Write answers to this question about your neighborhood. This is about you. about you personally. How many apartment buildings are there? For example, for me, I'm gonna say there are a lot. How much traffic is there? I'm gonna say, for example, there is a lot as well. How many bookstores are there? So you are going to answer these questions about yourself, about you personally, and you are going to write questions on these words. We are going to write questions on crime, parks, pollution, restaurants, schools, and stores. I am going to use how many or how much. For example, I'm going to think crime. So if I'm going to ask about crime, I don't ask about the number of crime. أنا مش بسأل على النمبر، أنا بسأل على معدل الجريمة. So I'm gonna say how much crime is there, for example. Okay. So I want you to make questions on this part. Okay. Very good. I think this is the end of this part, but there is just one more thing I want you to do. Try to do at home to practice more. This is your This is your last homework, guys. I know there's a lot of homework today, but it's just because of you need to practice this topic to know how to speak about it more. Okay. Neighborhood questions. What are the questions that you can hear mostly about neighborhoods? Okay, so can you tell me some things about your neighborhood? Yeah, for example, my neighborhood is a little bit noisy. For example, there are a lot of apartment buildings, and you are going to speak about your neighborhood. What are the advantages and disadvantages of your neighborhood? Advantages and disadvantages, it means positives and negatives. What would you like to change? What would you like to change about your neighborhood? What types of services or facilities are available near to you? How many of your neighbors do you know? Would you like to raise your children in a community like yours? Would you like to have your children in the same place or in the same society like yours? Why not? How have you helped a neighbor before? Where is the best place to shop in your city? Do you think it should be the government's responsibility to clean up neighborhoods, or are the people in the neighborhood responsible? Okay, what kind of neighbor are you? You are going to answer these questions as well, plus you are going to answer from page 43 to page 48, so 43, 44, and so on till 48 in the workbook. Okay, the last thing that we are going to do, we are going to watch a video related to the neighborhood in order to practice more. So let's have a look together. Okay, it's already there. Please, before we watch the video, don't forget to practice on the agenda web. Don't forget the agenda web. There are a lot of questions about places in the neighborhood and matching, and a lot of things you can practice to make it easier for you to remember these words. Okay, this is my neighborhood. Let's watch together Anna's video about the neighborhood. Can you skip the introduction?
DC is a city for walking. In our neighborhood, I can do all my errands. Marcia, before we get ice cream, I need to return 3 books to the library. Where is the library? It is on this street. On the corner. Awesome. Let's go.
I need to return 3 books to the library.
Marcia, I can return the books here. Anna, what are those in the book? Marcia, these are letters to my family and friends back home. 4 letters. Is there a post office near here? No. The post office is far from here. But there is a mailbox across from the store. Awesome. Let's go. Marcia, now I need to buy stamps. Do you have cash? No. Is there a bank near here? There is a bank behind you. Thanks, Marcia. You know our neighborhood so well. Is there a bank near here?
There is a bank behind you.
Now I have cash. I can buy stamps. That store sells stamps. Wait here. I have stamps. Wow, you're fast. Thank you. Thank you, letters, for sending my words, my love to my family and friends back home. Do you have more cash? I do. Ice cream! I love my new neighborhood. Everything is near our apartment, even hair salons and ice cream. Until next time. Hello. DC is a city for walking. In our neighborhood, I can do all my errands. Marcia, before we get ice cream, I need to return 3 books to the library. Where is the library? It is on this street.
Okay, she's gonna repeat again the situation without interruptions as usual. I think it's a little bit easy, okay? So I want you to listen to this to practice more. If you have anything that you didn't understand, you can send me and tell me that you didn't get it or you didn't understand this part, okay? There is one more thing. This is gonna be the last. Okay, there is one more video I want you to listen to. It's related to the neighborhood as well and asking about locations and places. So please listen and concentrate.
Hi there, I'm Anna, and I live in Washington, D.C. Every day, I learn more about this great city. People in Washington like to work out. Hi, Pete. How's it going?
Hi, Anna. It's going great. How's it going with you?
Things are awesome. Pete, I want to work out. Where is the gym?
The gym is across from the lounge. It's next to the mailroom. Go that way.
Thanks, Pete.
No, Anna. Not that way. Go that way.
Listen,
Where is the gym?
gym is across from the lounge. Oh, Pete. This is not the gym.
That's right, Anna. Mailroom.
The gym is across from what?
The gym is across from the lounge.
Across from the lounge. Right. Thanks.
Okay, so did you get it, guys, now? Okay, it's about what? About understanding the meaning of the word across from, to know the place or to know the possession of something. So thank you for today, and if you have any question, you can ask.